So when we all son, Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. So when we all son, Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. Features I've never seen. In one coin endeavoring to stand the storm weathering. Whatever the government bring. Mass adoption, that's an option. Privacy if you need to act with caution. Or want to cause you know they're watching. In early then scope at launching. Hands of steel and Armstrong, Aldrin, all in. Caldera crawling. Crypto cauldron calling, that rabbit hole we falling. Moon missions a true fiction. Blockchain here to smooth friction. If you hear the call, so just you listen. Cause we're watching the tale of two systems. And I'm breaking up out of the mold. Cause makes it been out of control. So dominoes, yo, I'm on a roll like some dominoes flow. Fiat speaking in ominous tones. So when we all son, Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. So when we all son, Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. Encrypted messaging, no IP wrestling. Olympus testament, so spine eyes can guess again. Private public festival, Hermes blockchain flexible. So I'll be chilling on the lunar in my vestibule. These tokens on the front of my pocket, on my ticket to ride on the rocket. So I'm jumping on board like I'm up in the zone while we coins fly like an ostrich. Dana, Apollo gonna take a spot. You can follow or parade to the top. Popping bottles in the vacant spot, waving our hands like charades. So when we all the sun, Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. So when we all the sun, Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame.
Ooh. That was Hash Brown from Team Huddle. And we always appreciate his music at the beginning of each and every one of our shows. Welcome, Apollonauts and would-be Apollonauts around the world. This is Apollo Corner Live. My name is Richard, and I'm broadcasting from the beautiful island of Barbados. And the date today is Thursday, October 25th, 2018. I'm just trying to adjust my camera here a bit. We are going to be having a roundtable discussion on anything and everything Apollo and other cryptos and the like. We have tonight our co-host. We all know him well. Lee, by the way, we've missed you. Lee Benke from the great state of Iowa. We missed you bad. I haven't had a broadcast with you for a long time. How the hell are you?
I'm doing really good, brother. I appreciate the introduction, and it's really nice to be back. I've missed coming on. You know, I've had some stuff going on, but it's a pleasure to be back with all of you guys. And I'm ready to talk some Apollo with you guys. So it's good to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Because I feel like this is home. I'm back home again with you, right?
I feel the same way.
Indeed. Now, this time we decided to bring as a guest a member of the Apollo community who I know has been around for a very long time. I'm going to be asking him shortly, how long was he in the community since there were 10, since there were 1,000, since there were 5,000 members? I'm not sure, but his name is Ken B. Apollo for Life baby out of the great state of Virginia. Welcome aboard, Ken.
What's up, everybody? Ken out of Virginia. Happy to be here.
I can tell by the...
Excited. Not nervous. That's wrong.
Oh, don't be nervous. Listen, I'm always nervous. I'm even nervous pulling out a tooth, for goodness sake. So that's the way that works.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. Now, listen, I wanted to do this for a long, long time, okay? But just hold on a second. I got to put on my surgical gloves here. Now, as I'm putting on my surgical gloves here, I want you all to know, Dean, now he got his coin. He was all excited. And he takes the coin and puts it in and he bites on it. Now, listen, Dean, you're a great producer. I respect you dearly, but you don't be leaving your DNA in it, okay? These things ought to be respected, right?
Yeah.
Before I even take the coin. Now, I have here a forceps, but I'm not using this today. Hang on. Comes in a nice little satchel, you see.
Oh.
Right. And here's this beautiful coin. I haven't even opened up this yet, folks. I haven't put on my gloves. Right. Over here. Now I'm going to take this off carefully. No fingerprints will be left on this coin, brothers and sisters. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous?
There.
Oh yeah. You can see it now.
I mean, I'm gonna put it real close to. I don't know if the lighting, or if it's what.
Put your hand over it and kind of cup it and try to shade some of that lighting out. I think that'll show the detail better.
All right. Okay, hang on here. I'm gonna do this here a little bit. And are they sold out of these things now, or what's the story with these things?
Well, they actually are getting there's a new batch that came in, and they're available now. I believe. I believe there was a batch of around 100 coins, and it's limit 2 per customer right now. But yeah, these things are hot, so get them while they're out there, because
yeah, they're awesome.
They sold out really quick the first time, really quick.
You should see the picture of Dean. It's like, no, don't do that, folks. You got to treat these good. I should, like, one day I felt like going to a store here in Barbados and handing that first and say, oh, excuse me, sorry, wrong country, wrong world, right? Oh my goodness. Well, see, now we're going to be, how we're going to be conducting this. We got so much news, so many developments that have been going on for weeks now. And I, on behalf of the Apollo Corner team, I must apologize for the delay in the broadcast between the last one and this one. I'm going to be perfectly honest with y'all. We kind of delayed because we were hoping we would get the one and only John McAfee on, and it was getting kind of close that we could get him as a guest, and we kind of holding off. And then I said, you know what, Dean? We're going to put that on hold again. We're going to go do a broadcast. We'll get that together one day, and so on. So please, my loyal Apollonauts, please forgive me and everybody in the crew for not having a show for so long. Would you agree, Lee and Ken?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just glad I was a second choice right below John McAfee. So. Right on for that one, man. We
got the one and only Ken Bracken in the house, so we're good to go.
Yeah, Ken, I want to ask you, Ken. I'm so anxious to know.
Sure.
How did you? Can you give me your quick story on how you even came on to Apollo, and on how experienced you are with the crypto space and so on, just to give the audience a little idea?
Absolutely. So I've always dabbled in everything financial. Always looking for something new. So I got into the whole Bitcoin and Litecoin back in last November, and got in when it was green up to here. Lost this much, had this much left, and then I was on my way into work one day just fiddling through YouTube, and I found Tony.
Tony
the Tiger. Tony had the journey to 100K. Here's where I first saw it, and I said, okay, this is interesting. Tony, everybody was new. I'm a little more fast paced. So I just, after watching that one, I just searched for Apollo currency. And of course, I found the next YouTuber, and between the two of them bouncing back and forth, I realized after about the third day, I'm like, something's just kicked me right in the gut. And like I tell you guys, I'm Apollo to my human core. Something kicked me in the gut and said, get in this. This thing is, I don't know what it is, be it a sign, be it intuition, and I started getting in. That was back in April, and I got in all through the CDE, and then I started throwing my cash at it. I cashed out $10,000 worth of silver bullion that I had. I bought more. I cashed out about 12 grand worth of firearms because I had a few.
Holy mackerel!
I bought Apollo. Well, I was going to open a gun store.
You're a regular Rambo.
Well, sort of like that. You drew first blood. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, and I just, every time I bought in something, I was always nervous too on the what if. But then I always said, well, what if? And so I just kept buying in and buying in. And my biggest chunk was a week ago Monday. I cashed out half of my XRP. And so that was the last really thing worth of value that I hadn't cashed in already. You know, to become this mini whale that they call me. Beluga, I think, is what they refer to me as. But and that's where I'm at with it now, and active on everything I can do. Everything I can do.
Move over, Mike. Move over, Mike. Ken is the big whale here.
Ken, you sure do a great job in the community, and we all appreciate you, man. I know when I first met you, I think we met on was it on Facebook we met, or was it on Telegram? I don't really remember.
When we first started communicating, it was Facebook Messenger.
Yep. And then you know, we progressed and started talking on Telegram and stuff. And you've been a solid rock throughout this whole thing in the community. And kudos to you, man. You've done an amazing job. You're an amazing community member, and you've just been killing it, man. So I want to take my hat.
I mean, I'm in it. Thank you so much for that. I mean, I'm one of you guys. The thing is that I sunk my teeth into this thing back in April, got heavy in May, and I haven't let go. And when I say EPO for life, baby, that's what I mean. I mean, this connected me. I mean, I'm something weird, but it pulled me in like magnetic attraction. So I'll do whatever I can do for the community. I try to be a good role model, a good citizen. Try to keep everybody in the lines without being an admin. All I want to do is be in there and be with like-minded people, because we're part of something incredible.
So let me ask you, like you found out through Tony. I see Tony's on. Hey, hi, Tony. This must have been early stages of Tony promoting this thing, right?
Yes.
How early? Yeah, it might have been one of his first few videos that he
it was so early on that Tony was pretty. Well, Tony is normally pretty forthright and straightforward, but he was very new. It had to be back in middle April, I think, towards the end of April when I found it, and everybody's presentation skills are different. I liked his style because he was to the point.
He's California, man. He's a California man. Of course, he's gonna be laid back.
I spent 26 years in Northern California, so I could relate to his style. Yeah.
So when you bought in on the CDE, did you catch it on the 002, or do you have to skip over to the 003, 004 range?
I caught it, but I didn't buy it. So I was watching it, and I'm a researchaholic, as you could you probably tell. I need to know what I'm reaching out and getting a hold of. But once I did, there's no looking back. So I just missed the end of 002 because I was researching, and I had to see just a little bit more of what was connecting my thought process with my gut in Apollo. So
well, okay, because it's you're very. Sir, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that we kind of mirror each other, Ken, because I too caught the tail end of 002. Didn't get enough of it that as much as I wanted to, and I got the rest of it basically on 003. But I, as well as you, I sold my XRP. I sold all my XRP. I kind of looked at it from a mathematical aspect. I said to myself, okay, XRP could go from X to Y, and Apollo could go from X to Y, but which one has the greater potential for leverage, like great leverage? And I just kept on looking at the leverage being a whole lot better potentially with the Apollo than it was with the XRP.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why I don't really have anything else left in my portfolio. It used to be 20-something, 30-something lines of craziness.
You're right.
And now I'm down to just a few.
But that could go back to the other way again if it goes really high. And then it becomes a whole bunch of lines again, right?
Well, it'll be a whole lot of numbers before the zero, put it that way.
That's right.
As far as being crypto crazy and having 20-something, 30-something holdings, there's such thing as over-diversifying. That's what I do.
And Lee, did you get in early on the 002? I think you did, didn't you? Because you were in early.
Yeah, I definitely got in 002 all the way, you know, I think 004 was the last point that I bought, if I can remember right. But yeah, I've been in it for a long time, and what Ken just said, it kind of about diversification. I think that's you know, I look at that and I think, you know, sometimes what you need to do is you need to go in, you look at what you've done your due diligence, Ken. You've done your research. Um, I think if you have too many coins, you know, sometimes you can't have enough time to spend and research each one and understand exactly on what you're maybe investing in. If you have, if you kind of, you know, push it down or, you know, narrow it down into a window of, I don't know how many coins, I don't know, 4, 6, 8, whatever it might be for whoever's taste, you have the time to actually kind of get intimate with each one and to understand what, which project is about, you know, whatever they're about, so you can learn more and everything. So I do
Right.
agree with that, man. I think that's I think that's smart. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, and I know a lot of people out there like crypto, and they like just you know, investing in whatever, and that's fine. I'm just saying for me, basically right now, I'm I'm all in Apollo, you know, but that's, I think everyone knows that. So
But here's my dilemma, because anyone who's done any research or done investment, they tell you to keep detached from your investments emotionally, because otherwise it will obscure your ability to think straight and make the proper decisions at the right time.
Right.
But guys, I love Apollo. I can't help
Okay.
it. I'm
yeah,
addicted. I'm addicted. So
Yes.
like I kind of say, okay, you gotta, you know, look at it. Hey, it's just another investment. You don't think that way, but I can't get it out of my head. I'm
all right.
sorry.
So let me ask you a question. I guess when we talk about that kind of thinking, as far as not being emotionally attached, I guess when you look at getting into something at this stage, when it's this price, you know, ground floor. I mean, when it comes to they call, you know, when it comes to hodling or whatever, in my opinion, it takes some emotional attachment to be able to hold something that long. You know,
Ah,
you know,
you're touching on something.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
serious. I mean, there's, when you look at it, a lot of people that have these big numbers in the beginning, you know, a lot of people are going to sell, and a lot of people that had these large amounts of Apollo or whatever coin or token in the beginning won't be the people that have those large amounts at the end. So, in my opinion, you know what? People can say what they want, but I'm emotionally attached, man. I love this project, and you know what? It's till the end for me. So.
Right.
But just to tell you how crazy this crypto world is, I still do I have a side amount of money, 6, 7, 8 grand that I was wanted to play with, and I got into XRP again at about 32, 31 cents. You might recall recently, it made this triple step to 45, 50, and 75. You might recall. So here I am sticking to the rule book and say, okay, it went from 31 to 39 or 38. I'm taking my profits. I'm a happy guy. I get out within 3 hours. It's going up to those 75-cent levels. I just said to myself, oh, why isn't I never I just never can catch it the way I want to catch it. So get this. I sold it at I made a little profit. Then it settled down to about 52, 53, 54, thinking to myself, okay, it's made its little sell off. It's going to make its next maneuver up.
Right.
And I went in. I went in again, and then it goes down to the 40, 45, 46 levels.
Yeah.
So, like you said, Lee, I'm not selling. I refuse to take the loss and close my trade. And I've been sitting at a 1,500, 1,400, 1,600 red zone. It's got to be at least 3 weeks or 2 weeks, at least 2 to 3 weeks, and I just refuse to take the loss. So I don't care how long it takes. I don't know if you guys did something similar, but it just drives you nuts.
Yes. I have a running joke with a buddy of mine. He always says, before you sell anything, call me, because, or when I buy something, when I was buying other cryptos, he goes, before you buy any other cryptos, call me. Because as soon as you buy, they tank. I'm going to sell when you buy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to do the opposite of what you do, right?
Yeah, and it was driving me nuts. In fact, the last one, 88 Cardano, right? I was into that back in January. So where were we at? In the 90-something cents? And I sold that, and I was in kind of heavy, guys. At one point my portfolio, blockfolio, was almost six figures. So I was in deep in a lot of these things, and I have since sold just about everything, and I've taken a loss. And I know Australian Mick, if he's listening, he's the one that wants to sell out on a lot of stuff that he's trying to wait to recover on. I don't know if there's going to be recovery on all those peak purchases back in the January timeframe with all those hyped projects like Tron. No offense, guys, I couldn't wait to dump that. It was just boring.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of projects that are gonna break a lot of people's hearts. I see a time in the next 6 to 18 months, maybe closer to 18, where the cream rises to the top, and there's gonna be a lot of failures. And so over diversifying, like you said, Lee, might actually be a proper word to use.
Yeah.
So I don't know. XRP is definitely going to be one of the ones look. It's going to be obviously very promising. The only catch, guys, that I can see with XRP, which no one really talks about, and I'm going to bring it up right now, is the banking system itself, which it's in itself dependent on. Because there's a lot of signs out there, folks, where the markets could really crash real soon. And the banking systems, which we all kind of know, the central banking system, the Federal Reserve et al., they're a corrupt group, okay? Yeah. They're criminals. We all know that. That's no secret. So what if they kind of go down the dumps? What happens to Ripple and XRP then? You got to ask yourself that question. Or are they going to be utilized in a fashion similar, but with different players? You know where I'm coming from?
Yeah. And because they're aligned. There's always the decentralization, centralization, the heck with XRP because they're in bed with the banks, yada yada. Part of that may be true, but when you think about the SWIFT system, the 5 billion or whatever it is per day, some ungodly number, that XRP is looking to fix that. Repair that broken 40-year-old system. At the dealership, I've done bank wires, at the auto dealership, and some of them take 5 to 7 days to get the money in our account. And I'm thinking I could send anybody anything, even in Bitcoin, which is the slow boy, 45 minutes to an hour, they'd have it. So that system is very broken. And just to think, the only reason I kept the half of the XRP that I have is 2 reasons. One of them, that's my rainy day money. In case my paycheck I have a rough month, I can squeeze that because I'm not squeezing my Apollo. As a matter of fact, on that note, a lot of people have these new bright, shiny cars in their driveway thanks to selling Apollo. I actually got rid of my nice, beautiful, red, shiny truck, and my wife bought me an old used Volvo to drive, so I didn't have that outlay. I did not want to pinch my Apollo for nothing. I changed jobs. My new job's going well, but it was uncertainty. And I'm like, you know what? I'll get rid of Ruby. That's my truck before I get rid of my Apollo. So I made the choice. I could have stroked a check out of my Apollo and paid for that truck, but instead I sold it to the dealership. That's my commitment.
You're a true Apollo man. A true Apollo brother. I applaud you.
Not only applaud you, Ken, but I congratulate you for doing so well in the contest. From what I understand, weren't you up the top 1 or 2 or 3 or something, or what?
Yeah, I'm up in there. I'm a car salesman, so I like to talk.
But could we trust you to buy a car from you, Ken? That's the most important.
100%.
I'll come to Virginia. I'll come to Virginia next time I'm ready to buy a car, or we'll do it online, and then we'll just we'll make it happen.
I'm very atypical in the car biz. That's why I do well. I'm very atypical in my peer group because I had a great dad and a great mom. Basically, I could say thanks to him up there. Mom's still alive, but they told me how to act, how to be, and how to look out for other people that look out for themselves. And so,
hallelujah, hallelujah.
Amen. Yes, amen to you, Ken.
Man, I had good teachers, buddy, but you know what? I keep it between the lines. You just got to.
Yeah, I
So
got
anyway.
I got a different approach to the dental chair too. It's mine's rather unique and different, and I like to get the humor on a high level. Anything to distract the task at hand obviously
Yeah.
benefits me and benefits them. So by the
Yeah.
time they stop laughing, I've done the procedure. So
Right.
that's the way it works.
Right, little sidetrack. My wife's a dentist as well, and she's very good at that. And
Your wife's a dentist. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh
Yeah.
well. How
Yeah,
many years has she been practicing for?
to 8. She graduated 8 years ago. We moved to Virginia, and she started practicing. And almost 5 months ago, she bought her first practice. So that's exciting.
Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one day, well, if she has any questions, I've been in the business for 38 years. Okay. She got
Okay.
any questions, feel free to call me. I'll be glad to answer them. Talk about anything.
Do you
Share
know that
x-rays.
I give my wife more men's numbers than any normal guy should. I mean, when I worked at the Volvo dealership, you meet a lot of, upper pay scale professionals, and I know more about dentistry than a middle-aged car salesman investor should. But, I'm a networker. And like I say, I give a guy my wife's number, and I'm like, here, give my wife a call. Weird, but, it's the professional courtesy.
Yeah.
Well,
It works.
I know you'll have very good breath. Anyways,
Yeah.
Lee, you got a subject you want to talk about? I mean, it's like pick a subject, any subject. I gotta leave that one up to you, man.
No, first I'd like to just give a shout out to the Apollo marketing team for coming up with that nice graphic and then posting Apollo Live onto the official announcement channel.
Yes.
I thought that was
Yeah,
amazing.
Lee, can you hold on just 1 second? I promised I give a shout out to Atlas. Atlas, I know you're listening. I use your driving home. Wink, wink. Okay, go ahead, Lee. I had to do that.
Atlas is fun.
Yeah, shout out to Atlas. But yeah, I think we've had a lot of really, really good news in the past days. Coming. It's going back to seeing X rates go live.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a bunch of good news today. We saw the 2FA authentication.
Isn't that? Don't you just love that system? I mean, when you think about it, someone put a recommendation that I just loved about the 2FA. If you don't mind me saying this, Lee.
Yeah.
Right. You know how people try to bomb blast it 10,000 times till they get through. Well, if they had a system like 5 tries and then you got to use your passphrase to restart the procedure, wouldn't that be awesome? Because
Yeah.
I don't that would eliminate anyone who thinks they're smart enough to try to do that.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, but I love that system. I never even heard of it till I was in this field, in this space. Never even heard of it. But go ahead, Lee. Sorry about that.
No, that's totally fine, brother. We've had a lot of good things, happening. We all know, like I said, X rates, just went live on trading. And I saw Stevie was in chat earlier in the group, and this kind of just he posted a graphic, and it kind of really I wanted to reiterate this as our current exchanges go. I mean, we look at IDAX, and you guys remember IDAX when it was when we first got on. No one knew what IDAX was, really.
Correct.
I mean, everyone was confusing it with IDEX and everything else. We all, I mean, in my opinion, we looked at that and we're like, well, this, I looked at it and I thought, well, this, looks and feels good and everything. And I never had any issues with it. And I never really heard many complaints about IDAX, but we started watching it grow and grow and grow. And now today, as of today, in adjusted volume on CoinMarketCap, it was in the number 6 spot, right behind HitBTC in the 5 spot with over,
Wow.
I believe it was like $216 million in daily volume. Don't quote me on that for sure, but it was well over $200 million in daily volume. So that's it's like watching. I mean, they've been crushing it, and I just if you guys didn't catch that earlier, it's it should be noted, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Wow, and if we can get OKEX going, that would be a double whammy. And then, see, if that's what you're saying, Lee, why aren't the big investors taking charge right now if they're waiting for the bigger exchanges to do their big things? Like what do you think that's about?
What do you mean? I guess.
Well, I'm hearing things on the chats and so forth that the big investors are kind of waiting for OKEX because they like to do their trading in that big exchange and so on, and hence we haven't seen that movement with the big investors yet. But if now IDAX is now taking that position and they're showing that they're right up there with the big boys, I'm surprised I haven't seen them being active yet.
I don't think it really has anything to do with IDAX or OKEX right now. I think it's just more of the market and where we're at. And that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think once Apollo starts releasing some of these bigger things in Q4 and Q1, I think in my opinion, I think we'll start seeing some more price action. But, I mean, like I said, we Apollo, this whole market, this whole time has just been, down. So I think there's definitely some big exciting things as far as investors coming. And if anyone that's looking at Apollo in my mind, and you can attest to this, Ken. I mean, in my opinion, it's a smart play, and I think it's just going to come down to when the conditions are right, and then I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Well, the thing that's good is like situations like, for instance, Zach finally, my Lord have mercy, finally put out not only a proper one, he hit it out of the park. We crushed it. We could criticize little this or little that, no matter. He crushed it, and I think that the cherry on top is going to be the first episode on Fox Business of this 12-part series. My Lord, I mean. There's going to be a lot of people opening their eyes and going, wait, Apollo, what is that? So, but I don't know. They said the fall. We're almost into winter. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm hoping soon.
Yeah.
But that would just be amazing. Now, I've heard different stories. Is Apollo going to be kind of followed during the parts? Is it going to be a one-off with one part? No one really knows the true answer to that, but I've heard both sides. Any others? What other subject? Ken, you can open up. What do you want to talk about that's been going on recently that we can chat up?
Well, I mean, as I'm talking to you guys, and I'm looking at the camera, and I'm looking at your pictures down here, and I'm looking up here at I got IDAX open. And I was going to touch on the Zach. I've been following him as soon as I found him, almost coming up on a year now, right?
Right.
He's unique. He can have, and I only speak the truth here, guys. You guys who know me, he can come off as a nasally, whiny guy that is a little self-centered sometimes, right? But I was blown away. I got about halfway through his video last night. I was actually a little hyperventilating. I paused it, and I took a little in my business chair upstairs, and I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. Now, knowing how he is and knowing his styles and these deep dives, and then that deep dive we kind of had 3 months ago that was undesirable. And then I finished watching it, and I went back and watched it again. I know, Zach, you're probably not watching, but if you are, you dynamite job. And because of that, we're seeing some of these we had about 10 million in sell walls in just 2 lines today.
Yep.
And they're about crushed. They're more than half crushed. So there's volume coming in. There's people I've seen some new buzz in the Telegram today. I'm seeing new names. I'm seeing somebody just said, I bought 1 million. I just bought 2 million. That's just damn awesome. I mean, it's happening, right? This thing that everybody's like, when Moon, when Lambo, all that mess. We've been kind of side trading, a little up, little down, little day trader action, all that. But we're sitting solid, man, in this crappy market.
Exactly.
Are we 90% down in our APL? Not a chance. Some of us are not me. Some of you guys are break even. I bought up through 5, and I bought some at, you know, in the dip at triple lot 8 and all that stuff. I'm sitting okay. I'm still in the red. Lots of digits in the red, but you know what? It's so exciting to me because at 3 or 4 or 5 sats up, I'm watching my portfolio try to keep up with how much money is accumulating for me. So that's one of the benefits of being a baby whale, that these minute changes make massive gains, right?
Well, yeah. And don't forget, Apollo's only 3.5 months old in the exchanges. That's it.
Yeah.
3.5 months. That's nothing compared to a whole set of currencies. Nothing. It's a blink in the eye in the whole life. So I agree with Zach though that from the middle of 2019 there are going to be some drastic moves, because a lot of those big time features like the decentralized exchange, which by the way, I think that one feature alone, the decentralized exchange, is that's a game changer. Absolute game changer. You don't have to go to any of these exchanges. You can just sit tight and rock and roll, you know. And how comfortable is that?
You know, we can do business from home, from our Apollo wallet, which is home for crypto.
Right in your cell phone. Yeah.
Right.
And I 100% agree. The decentralized exchange is going to be massive. I'm really excited. That's one of the biggest points for me is that. And but I do want to give a shout out. How about Victor's wallet 3.0 group?
I love Victor.
It's helping to design the wallet. That's like so unique that Apollo is giving people the opportunity to go in and help customize this new wallet, which is going to be revolutionary. And so I just want to give a shout out for that and your guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's our project, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who else gets to work and be a think tank for the devs of a project to this size? Who does? Nobody but us.
Yeah, but think about it. You're just a member, and your input to Victor in that little chat room, and it becomes a reality. You gotta feel special, man.
You matter. All of us
matter.
We matter to this miraculous thing that we all stumbled into, right? And we're a baby, like you said, man. 3-4 months old. This
a preemie.
Yeah, we're just a little sucker that can't hardly breathe on its own, but we're doing a daggone good job, right? I'll sort of contain down how I gave up my favorite truck in the world that I named her Ruby. I never named another vehicle in my life. That's just how. That's what we're in, man. That's what we're in. And I know a lot of people on the Telegram page are aware of it, but you guys are aware of it. You know what we got. But sometimes, after listening to Zach's video, and I was like, wow, I know what we got. But now I really know what we got because you're so excited and you're normally monotoned. I mean, I just can't contain how jetted and fueled I am by being a part of this project. That's just what it comes down to.
Well, Zach actually surprised me. I mean, first of all, he was like he was on Red Bull. I mean, I've seen a lot of his videos, and I never seen him so jacked. I actually was shocked. In fact, I had to repeat it and watch it and listen to it again to see if this was a dream. I could not believe it.
He was already excited about Apollo because if you notice in the video, and I was on that live stream the day that I actually I left a comment one day and let him. I mentioned McAfee becoming the chairman or whatever, and as soon as he saw that comment, he got on and started getting excited and then talking about it. And in the last review, he's like, I even got giddy when I heard about McAfee. It was just like he's excited about it, and he did an amazing job. He did such an amazing job. It's refreshing to see someone with that many subscribers, that much clout, that much credibility or whatever, to actually do a review on Apollo that was such so well done. And when I was watching it, I was actually cooking supper, and I saw the notification. I'm like, oh, I'm like my wife. I'm like, Beth, you need to come finish this. I walked outside the door and I'm like, getting on, so it was definitely awesome to see.
But here's the thing. John McAfee's been very quiet.
Man.
And I don't mind that because it's kind of like a lull before the storm. Something's brewing. We don't know what it is. But he's awfully quiet. Yeah, go ahead, Lee. Shoot.
I think, and I may be totally off base, but I think as someone in that type of situation that has almost 900,000 followers, if you're going to be the chairman of a project, you can't necessarily always, you have to choose your timing and stuff, because otherwise it can take away relevance of your your when you're tweeting or whatever. So
Right.
Pick your spots, I think, and you don't want to. I don't know. A lot of people they like to term it shill or whatever. But so I think maybe pick your time, pick your spots, pick what you need to hit on, and I think it'll be more well received that way. And that's just how I see it. I'm not sure that's the case.
Well, and here's the spot we're picking. We're going to be picking the spot when they talk about this mass adoption plan, which has yet to be unfolded and yet to be released. It's still a mystery. No one really knows what that means. But maybe it will be McAfee announcing it on a tweet. How do we know? I mean, Trump could do that. Why can't he?
Yeah. Very true.
So I don't know. It's awfully quiet there, and some people have been making those remarks in the chat room. But so, John hasn't been heard much. We haven't. There was that stretch when he talked about the corruption with the KuCoin and Apollo having Apollo's back, and congratulations for pulling out from BTC and or HIT. Sorry, did I say it wrong? Which one is it? HIT BTC. My apologies to HIT BTC. Right. But after that series of blasts, it's been very, very, very low keyed.
I do want to know, even though like I know a lot of people probably are wanting to see a lot of tweets from John or whatever. And this is again my opinion, but this does not take away, or we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Let's say with the development or discussions within the team, we don't know how that's happening. So, I think John's good for tweets, obviously, but he's also good for other things besides that. So I think behind the scenes, we don't know what's necessarily happening either. And I think there's a reason he was brought on. There was a reason he was brought on.
I'm looking in the chat room there, and Michael Baker saying McAfee's waiting for the next wallet update and 2-second speed. That's quite possible. He's waiting for something that would make it like you say, Lee. He's going to pick a spot where it's significant, and that makes total sense to me. Guys, what about this thing backed BAKKT? You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
With the ETFs. I've been doing some research on it. In case anyone over there in our audience don't know, BACT is kind of like an arm of ICE, which is the Intercontinental Exchange. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's big. They're the biggest exchange in the world. They own the New York Stock Exchange. They got arms in all parts of the world. But BACT apparently is trying to do like Van Eck with the ETFs to get the SEC approval to have a regulatory body to get things keep the manipulation out of the picture and to make for a seamless experience, trading, selling, even holding and keeping secure. Some people say, well, it might trigger a big bull move in Bitcoin, which of course everyone else would follow. Others would say it would be a minor effect. What's your thoughts? It's coming up December 13th, by the way, apparently.
Yeah,
which seems to be interesting timing when you consider traditionally when these movements happen, right?
Right. There's a couple big things happening right about that time. I've done a fair amount of research on the BACT. I can just surmise it this way. It's so much massive investors, investments, company sizes, so much money, which is why they actually named it Bakkt. They put some research into that name because in the investment, the fiat community, your money is backed by the government, right? That's
Right.
why they came up with that acronym. I thought that was very interesting.
Clever.
But when that does go, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, just we talked a little bit ago about the SWIFT system at 5 billion a day. Just think of
Right.
the amount of sheer global financing that's going to come ripping into that place like a tsunami wave.
Actually, it's uncanny. I don't even know if you can, like, when people talk about Bitcoin going to 100, 200,000 K, when you think about it in those terms, Ken, it doesn't seem so implausible.
Yeah, it does not, and especially with Bitcoin being 21 million, right there. That's it. And Bitcoin,
Not even 21 million, less than 21 million. Lots lost,
right.
you know.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't include people who threw away a thumb drive or threw away a computer or any of that stuff, or bought a pizza with a bazillion of them. But it's almost unfathomable to think about the amount of money that's out there that's going to come into this space that we're in. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's like gold, but there's no more mines. Mine's over.
Right.
Done.
Right.
Right. It's crazy.
Right. And it's going to be beyond little nuggets this big and making your whole week when you're gold panning. It's going to be dump truckloads of fiat. I mean, it's so crazy the amount of money that's going to come into this space. We're going to see, we're going to see like what the Industrial Revolution did and what all these different time periods did, We're in the middle of it, and we're going to see a transformation of the globe we live on financially.
Well, this would explain the sideways movement of the markets in the crypto space. They're accumulating. They're accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. If they can get it down further and the bears have their way, they're even happier because they'll accumulate more cheaper. Yeah. But the support levels. Well, taking Bitcoin, for example, the support levels around 6,000, a little above, is enormous. You know how many times they try to test that? It just doesn't happen. You get these long wicks, and it pops right back up. Have you noticed that? And time and again and again and again. And it's got to stop at some point because that's just the way it works. Just hasn't happened yet.
Right. Right. Yeah, I look at all this sideways trading. With your little this and this and this. I look at it like when a tiger or something is on the prowl and it's just sneaking, and it'll stop and it'll hunch and it'll lift up and it just keeps sneaking. And when it gets close, it's going to pounce, attack, and the energy that produces.
That's an amazing analogy.
I love the metaphor, Ken. I love the metaphor.
When it launches, when it pounces, and when it's got the neck of whatever it's going to eat, it's got it, right? There's no turning back at that point. So,
I'm wondering, if I could just switch gears here. Does anyone have any questions in the chat they'd like to ask or talk about amongst ourselves? I see a lot of comments, not a lot of questions yet. It's open to you guys. I put on my reading glasses. I put my vanity aside and put on my reading glasses so I can see this stuff. And in the meantime, do you guys have anything else you want to discuss? I got a list here. We haven't even touched some subjects. The airdrop being finally done. Airdrop being finally. I feel like I just went to the washroom and had relief. Okay, when I first heard of airdrops, this is a funny story. When I first experienced an airdrop months and months ago, I was all excited. Free coins. Everyone gets them. Some people might get more than others. And I thought it was a big thing. But you know what? I'm real tired of that. I wish there's not another airdrop again, ever.
Ever.
It's a great way for marketing and stuff. But my gosh, man, when you've got, it was a great day when I heard that the airdrops were finally over. So And shout out to Steven Stryker for coming up and just doing what you do, Steven. You're the man. And
yes, Mr. Stryker, he is the man. And he took, at the beginning, he was trying to feel himself around. Stevie had the helm for such a long time. But Stryker, boy, you in there. Big time. Well done, son. But going back to the airdrops, right? I kind of look at it like quantitative easing. When the government decides we got to print more money to ease the pain, and then the pain comes later. Yeah. Exactly the same thing.
It's a delayed reaction.
A delayed reaction, not a very good one.
Well, just like in your field, Richard, pain now or pain later. Right? Pain of the injection now and the drilling, or pain later when you have an abscess and the tooth has to come out. I mean, you prolong the pain. We do that a lot in life,
But Ken, you can tell your wife this too. All my patients, I tell them, there's no pain in my practice. Even the anesthetic, even administering the anesthetic, there's a way to do it, a right way and a wrong way. And I never have a problem with my patients. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what procedure it is. There's no pain. But enough of dentistry. I don't want to talk that. Yeah. Right. Unless you want to. No, just kidding.
The only pain is having your jaw cracked open and having 87 fingers in there with metal instruments pinching your lips. That's really the pain factor.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. And I've seen some
very petite hands. She's a tiny Asian and she's very good. So that's helpful. But going to the dentist, I mean, people say, I got a dentist appointment. I tell them, I see a dentist every day. No big deal. So it is what you make of it. If you just realize in your mind it's just something you got to get done, and just shut up and get it done, move on.
Yeah. It is a necessary evil for real. It is
a lot of it is
evil.
Yeah, sure. But everybody, mouth health is very important. So brush and floss.
You'd be surprised how many people don't get that. And the amazing thing is how many beautiful and handsome men and women come in. And as soon as they open up their mouth, I go, what the hell's wrong with this program? Right. What is this about? If you can't deal with that, how the heck are you going to be taking care of somebody else?
Exactly.
Let alone yourself. Oh, come on. But when they're good looking, it even more boggles my mind.
Right.
But anyways.
But you know better. But anyway, okay.
Yeah.
No, Dean just messaged me on Telegram. What's up, buddy?
Go ahead, Lee.
No, okay. Dean messaged me on Telegram and said, maybe it's time for us to ask any final questions and with the community and any final thoughts that we have and get this thing wrapped up. It's been an awesome show, I think. I don't know what you guys think, but I definitely thought it was a good show.
Ken, any final thoughts from you?
Well, where my final thoughts are going to wrap up. But just for everybody out there, there was zero planning on this. We didn't compare notes. This was all shoot from the hip, throw the spear, hope it sticks. But when you have the core of the people that we do, the common interest, it's just kind of pulled together. It just did. Like this thing right here. And I'm like, are we going to talk about what we're going to talk about? Let's just talk. And it works, right? Because we're in the same fight, let's say.
Yep. That was the whole idea behind this whole show. It was just to go in and just shoot off each other and just have a conversation, just no scripting, no nothing. And when you get people in together, like you just said, you get people in here that have the same common knowledge, the same common, feeling. It makes for great content, man. And I applaud you.
Yeah.
I do applaud you, Ken. You are a true Apollonaut, man. And hearing that you sold your prized ruby, to buy Apollo and stuff like that, that touches me, brother. And I appreciate you, man.
Don't worry about don't worry about the truck. The next truck's going to be called Apollo, so he's cool with that. It's going to be.
What I miss about it the most, and I'll wrap this up real quick. It was a 6-cylinder twin turbo. I had custom tune intake exhaust. I was about 450 horse and about 550 foot-pounds to the rear wheels. Now, Richard, I know over there you use kilowatts, but let me just tell you, Ruby was pretty stomping bad ass truck. But I built it that way to suit me, and I'll build the next one to suit me because I know what I like. And when I want to tear up a little 5.0 Mustang that doesn't know how to drive, I'll just let them read my license plate. That's what I like. You know what I mean?
What I like to say before we go off is I wanna commend Tony and Journey to 100K. The contest that he put out there was second to none. I'd never seen anything like it. It was streamlined. It was slick. I actually made some suggestions to him that the next time around, instead of making it such a rubber stamp for easy things to do the task, do some challenging ones that maybe people can answer and let other people go ahead in the contest instead of the referral ones, getting away with it. But Tony, hats off to you. You did an absolutely excellent job. Your videos are awesome. I watch each and every one of them. So hats off to you, Tony, my man, Mr. California man. And I'm going to say that ever since I saw that Zach CCN video, I've been goosebumped ever since. I haven't stopped thinking about it, thinking about this. I really have. I didn't expect that. It kind of took me by surprise,
I had smiles all on my face yesterday. I was just completely smiles watching that, after watching that, it made my whole night, dude. It really did.
Yeah.
It was just a It was just a really, really big breath of fresh air and a blessing for me just to be able to see someone like that and have such great things to say. And it really, I think that's gonna be.
He was totally impartial. We didn't get paid for it. He's very critical about a lot of projects. I've seen his criticisms, and I saw nothing of the sort. So it really took me aback. But anyways, I think Dean's going to get upset if we stretch this any longer. On behalf of Ken, thank you very much for coming on the show. We'll definitely have you on.
Thank you for the invitation, man. I'm very honored. To be honest with you. So thank you.
We're very happy to have you, Lee. I'm so glad you're back and on top of things, and I just can't wait to do the next show. Hopefully next week. You never know. So on behalf of a little block
down here, you let me know.
No problem, my brother. No problem. Right. So on behalf of Ken and Lee and Dean, the master behind this curtain, we bid you good night. Happy investing. Apollo all the way.
Absolutely.
Crypto all in one, a step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. Soon we roll the sun. Apollo, crypto all in one, a step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. Features I've never seen. In one coin endeavoring to stand the storm weathering. Whatever the government bring. Mass adoption, that's an option. Privacy if you need to act with caution. Or want to, cause you know they're watching. Inner lean and scope of launching. Massive stealing, Armstrong, Aldrin, all in. Caldera crawling, crypto cauldron calling. That rabbit hole we falling. Moon missions a true fiction. Blockchain here to smooth friction. If you hear the call, I suggest you listen. Cause we're watching the tail of two systems. And I'm breaking up out of the mold. Pervasive and out of control. So ominous, yo. I'm on a roll like some dominoes flow. Fiat speaking in ominous tones. Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. So we roll the sun. Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. Encrypted messaging. No IP wrestling. Unlimited testament. So spine eyes can guess again. Private public festival. Hermes blockchain flexible. So I'll be chilling on the lunar in my festival. These tokens on the front of my pocket. On my ticket to ride on the rocket. So I'm jumping on board like I'm up in the Zorro. We coins fly like an ostrich. Dana. Apollo gonna take this spot. You can follow or parade to the top. Popping bottles in the vacant spot. Waving our hands like charades. So we roll the sun. Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame. So we roll the sun. Apollo, crypto, all in one. A step for devs, a leap for blockchain. Rise like jet fuel, hot flame.
That is such a fun